So what you cooking?
Okay, so Jesus is at work right now, and I end up having the day off. So we did tamales this past weekend, and I accidentally bought an extra bag of masa, but for sure I didn't want to be without because we kind of live far away from a grocery store. So want to make sure I had 3 bags instead of 2 bags of masa. So I was wondering what we do with another bag of masa. And I looked around Google, and of course I like cheese, and I thought chile relleno kind of type. So with an extra husk, an extra bag, it's never too bad to have extra than less. So I thought poblano and cheese. So with ingredients I already have at home, the only thing I had to buy was probably Tomatillos and of course Poblanos and probably 2 more blocks of Monterey cheese. I already had cilantro. We had even lard because what I did was I bought an unprepared masa. So be careful when you're like in a rush trying to buy masa. I bought 1 prepared and 2 unprepared. Didn't know that, and I'm glad he just picked up the extra lard because now I'm going to have to prepare it. I'm new to this, so it's going to be interesting. I already had broth, black pepper, salt, and onions. And the only thing I'm changing, what I've come across several cooks, I'm adding a jalapeno to make it spicy and just a little kick. I don't like it bland. It has to have a little spice on it. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and heat up water so we could soften these husks, the leftover bag. So right now I'm softening these husks, and you have to have, it's warm water right now, and I'm going to surprise it by putting some really hot, hopefully it's not too hot. It's going to really dissolve it. But it's not hot water to begin with. So this is just to soften and clean at the same time. We'll let it sit there for like, I would say an hour. And then we'll rinse it after an hour. You could, I'm going to put a plate in there. So down. Let's put some weight on it and then steam them, and we'll be back in an hour. Okay, so I thought I was going to be able to use the big mixture. The masa did not fit, so I guess that was a no. So I'm going to have to work really hard. So this is the unprepared masa. I'm going to add the lard and then keep mushing it and then add salt, and then we'll be back. All right, so I want to say it looks like an hour that I've been mixing the masa and that lard. I'll have the recipe on the bottom, what I use and how many pounds of masa was basically just 9 pounds, almost 10 pounds of masa. I added salt, not too much salt because when I do add the cheese, that's going to have salt. And then to get it moistened up in flavor, I've been putting chicken broth as I go to help with the mixing of the lard and the masa. And I've tasted a couple times and it's actually really good. So I know I'm doing something. So lesson learned, buy the prepared so you don't have to work too hard, but it's up to you if you want to add more chicken broth or other broth, vegetable broth. I mean, but it's pretty nice. And then I did take a couple breaks And I did start putting the Poblanos, heating those up, and we call it the comal. And then the Tomatillos, I boiled in slow, now it's steaming. Because eventually I'm going to peel the skin, the charred skin, and then cut them in strips. And then I'm going to mix the Poblano into the mixer, which you'll see. Okay? Oh. So I'm got the Tomatillos. Actually, Cameron helped me put them in. And just blending it by itself. Alright, that was easy. Well, let me make sure. Alright, so that's blended, that's done that part. And I had the Poblanos steaming in a hot, in a plastic bag. That way it's softened up and easy to peel. So I'm going to take, I guess just needed more minutes, but it should come out easy. You just remove the shard portion of the Poblano, and then what I'm going to do is cut them in sticks, which you'll see in strips. All right, so I put 1 tablespoon of lard that I had saved for this. I'm gonna saute the onions, and cilantro got in there, but that's okay. Still gonna smell good. And we're gonna brown them. All right, so you can see it's softened up now. Decide not to keep it toasting. And I'm gonna pour in the tomatillo blended. Also forgot the jalapeno, so we blend that 1 jalapeno in there. So it's on medium heat. And we're just gonna bring it to boil. And that's when we're gonna add the poblanos and the cilantro after it hit that little boil there, okay? So now that it's set to boil, I'm adding the Poblano strips for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. I guess I could use my hands faster. Okay, and then I'm going to add the cilantro, and then basically like simmer for 3 to 5 minutes. And this cilantro was like 1 head, and I chopped it. And you can go chop it up more, but I'm just gonna blend it together. There's a lot of cilantro. So I'm just mixing it so you have that lovely, it smells really good. It smells chiles, cilantro, onions. Very nice, especially during this season. Okay, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, so I'm gonna add the salt. I put 1 teaspoon. After I mix it, I'm gonna see, and just a little pepper. I'm not doing a teaspoon on that, just a little pinch. It's starting to look really good. Okay, I'm gonna mix it really well, because what I'm gonna do is taste it. You don't want it salty, you don't want it bland. Let's see. I'm used to tasting things and getting burned. Let's see. Ooh, tastes good. Salsa verde for sure. The salt, just need a little bit more. And like I said, it's not perfect, you just know where it's at. And I don't want to put too much salt because I'm going to eventually add cheese. And cheese, and then the masa has the broth, chicken broth. Yeah, it's going to be, but it's actually, it's really good. So excited. So we'll be back. So take a look. Kind of evaporate it, but didn't evaporate it, actually mixed in with the Poblano. I did give it a taste, added a couple more salt. Like I said, you can have salt as to your tasting. So we're gonna let it cool down and start getting ready to go ahead and make some tamales. So we are back. We let the Chiles, salsa verde, and poblanos cool down. It's starting to look like this. I'm gonna spread the masa. Start doing the tamale. Make sure, which I learned, to spread the masa on the smooth part of the tamale, not the rough part. And I don't know, everybody has different ways of spreading the masa. I don't cover the whole tamale, the corn husk. I'm just gonna do, I guess you shouldn't put the edge too at the end right here. But it happened to be like that because I'm gonna show and tell right now. And I'll use like a little spoon of salsa verde here. Then go over here to my sliced Monterey cheese. And I like cheese, so I'm gonna add a layer in. And then I'm gonna close it up. What me and Cameron found out is, and then we go like this. And I already made one. That wasn't hot, so adding jalapeno, one jalapeno actually didn't make it spicy. It did have like a little flavor and little tiny kick, but I mean, if you want it spicier, I would probably say 2 more jalapenos into the mixture. But it's my first time, so on this salsa verde tamale, so I didn't know how it was going to be, so I didn't want to make it too hot. And then we're going to go ahead and make a bunch of tamales, and we'll come right back. Okay. All right, so we already wrapped the tamales. Now we added water up to that line. And this is one of our steamers, and it's shifting down. And what we use is like a mixing bowl. It's metal, of course. I'm gonna put that in the middle so it'll be easy for us to line up our tamales here. And let's see. So we wrap them too, and we're just gonna line them. Upwards. You don't want to put it upside down because once it steams it, you don't want any of that filling splash over. After we line them up, we're going to put the foil here, and then we're going to use, you could use any cloth if your choice, if you want. This will trap all the steam from going out. And then grab the lid and set it like that. Eventually, you know, we're gonna take a peek couple times, like probably I would say 15 minutes, and make sure there's water. And then like in an hour, you check and make sure the masa is done, and we'll take a look at it. But let's get all started, and we'll be back in an hour. All right, so what we had to do is actually lift the cloth up because you don't want to burn it. So I figured that out. So we took a look. It's been steaming the tamales for an hour and 30 minutes. I did have to check it one time to see if there was water. And then after that, I turn it off and set it for 30 minutes. And you can see there's some steam coming out. Hot, hot, hot. Let me bring one out. See. It took longer than what I thought. This is something you cannot do after work, definitely. It's like a day project. Okay, it's still a little steamy, but the masa is there together. And then let's take a see the cheese. Actually, it looks, my mouth is watering just looking at this. Okay, let me try some chips. Oh my gosh. You know what this tastes like? Basically like a chili relleno with some sauce. It's really, really good. So you could try this. There's easy other steps. There was another step I was gonna use. Instead of using the green salsa verde, the tomatillo sauce, you could just cut up the poblanos in strips, and then add cheese, and then roll it up, which probably would have been easier. But I wanted to try something different on my own, and it was a tomatillo sauce, just to make it a little, you know, different, and with the jalapeno. But I think that would have been easier. And if I had a prepared masa, which I didn't. That was like an hour of mushing. Adding 2 pounds of lard, adding chicken broth, and salt for the flavor. But yeah, it was a good try. Hopefully you just be surprised what I did with the leftover masa. And that's it. See you later.